Studio Museum started at the height of the Civil Rights Movement when the majority museums did not recognize the existence of artists of the African diaspora. So the Studio Museum is not only central to what took place at the height of the Civil Rights Movement, not only central to that sanctuary called Harlem, but it is at the core of what we think of as culture. The Studio Museum remains at the epicenter of the cultural ethos, if you will.
The founders of this museum thought about what it meant to create a museum, both as it was understood, but also redefining it. What they wanted to do was create a new kind of space in this community that reflected the community, but also had an expansive view of art.
We've grown programmatically, we've grown educationally, our exhibitions have grown in size, and we've grown in importance to the overall canon. And our artists are demanding that we have space that is capable of handling the exploration and the exhibition of their talents.
This auction came about because artists committed deeply to the idea of a new home for the Studio Museum, and many of them said, "How can I help?" They thought their help could come through giving works to this auction to support the creation of our new building. I wanted the building to echo the incredible, dynamic street life of Harlem. In our current building, the artists' studios are really at the center of the museum. They're on the front of the building, facing 125th Street. In the new building designed by Sir David Adjaye, the studios are almost exactly in the same place. Our public spaces will allow us to engage with audiences from Harlem and around the world. It's a real nexus for the presentation and engagement with art by artists of African descent.
One of the things that is so important about the Studio Museum in Harlem is our Artist in Residence program.
The founders hope to have art practice, process, and presentation come together in one space. The program is amazing because the artists spend a year here at the Studio Museum working in their studios, but also participating in the life of the museum. And many of the artists who have contributed to the auction are alumni of that program. Sam Gilliam was part of an exhibition called Harlem Artists 1969 that opened just a year after we opened our doors in 1968. And Njideka Akenili-Crosby and Julie Moretu were both artists in our Artists in Residence program. Glenn Ligon began his association with the Studio Museum when he was an intern at the museum. We've been privileged to live with his work, Give Us a Poem, in our lobby for many years, and are thrilled that it'll be a part of our new home as well. Mark Bradford had his New York debut in our exhibition Freestyle in 2001. Lorna Simpson was featured in an exhibition in 1989 at the museum and has continued to be in exhibitions at the museum since. I think the name of this sale, Creating Space, is incredibly appropriate because that's what the Studio Museum has done for its 50 years. It's created space for artists of African descent, it's created space in Harlem, and it's created space for these artists and these ideas in the world.
We needed to have a sanctuary that would allow the artists to flourish, to have the curators to think as creatively and as imaginatively and as boldly as they could, to have enough space to be able to accommodate that vision.
I am deeply excited for the entire building, not just the individual spaces, but also for what this museum has meant, but will continue to mean through the work that we can do in this new space.